All right, all right. Welcome back to another episode of Counts a Bucket. I am your host, Zach Couts, back with my brother, Ben Counts BK on the other line. What's going on, brother?
What up? What up, everyone?
Holy crap, man! Talk about a Woj bomb. Me and you were we'll start right at the gate with this. The NBA season has officially ended, but not before Mr. Magic Johnson could get in the news and shock NBA Twitter, NBA world. Pretty sure shocked LeBron James himself.
Yeah.
He is stepping down as president of basketball operations with the Lakers. Was really, really weird, informal, just like sparked up like a press conference in the middle of the game and was just rambling and was like, I haven't told Jeannie Buss yet. I know that if I went in there, she'd try to convince me to stay and I'd feel guilty. And I felt this was the best way to do it.
hmm
And I mean, no, Magic.
Yeah.
No. This was not the best way to do it. LeBron is probably just like shaking his head in the corner, like, what have I gotten myself into? This is a mess. So many people are just saying that Magic didn't have the time. He didn't
hmm
realize the type of commitment that this job was, which is very true. Um, he'll always be remembered for being the great player, but I mean, this just does not look good for me. I don't know what they do from here. I have a lot of thoughts on that, but first, I mean, give me your thoughts on it. And I mean, I know obviously you have some strong opinions, but I mean, this can't be good for LeBron, can't be good for Pelinka. It's just not good for the Lakers organization. Would you agree?
Yeah. Honestly, more it's just a tarnish on Magic Johnson. You know, I I forgot who was saying. I think maybe Broussard was saying it, but he was saying I've never seen Magic like back down from such a challenge like this. You know, it's kind of the first time in his life he's seen a challenge put in front of him and just kind of quit. You know, and said, "Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want all this responsibility." He said it himself. I've such a great life outside of basketball. Why would I want all these problems? Like, it's kind of what greatness is, you know. But
Yep.
yeah, definitely not a great look for the Lakers. Definitely thought Magic Johnson was one of the big selling points. But at the same time, when you got a guy in the organization who's not committed, not putting in any of the time, not doing any work really at all, you know, just not spending time with the players, you don't even really want guys in that organization. I've been hearing too that Pelinka might have been behind the scenes trying to push some buttons, get him out of there because I heard one story that he would every time he'd walk in the Lakers facility, Magic wasn't there. He'd be like, "Oh, where's Magic? Magic isn't
Yeah.
here today again." Like,
Yeah.
I can see how that would grind someone's gears. So, I don't know. I'd like to stay optimistic about it, and I'd say maybe addition by subtraction, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. There's also apparently a lot of rumors out there that Magic wanted to just clean house. He wanted to get rid of Luke. He wanted to get rid of Palinka, and he wanted to bring his own guys in. And Jeannie didn't really like that, so maybe Magic was doing her a favor. And I don't know if you saw like Jeannie, but she tweeted at Magic like, "We love you, Laker Nation. Like, we'll always be indebted for what you did for us. Like, thank you so much." Like the guy didn't do anything. I mean,
Yeah,
yes, what he did, he brought LeBron in. He has a lot of cap space, some decent young players, but other than that, he did not do much. So
he did more wrong than good, honestly.
he set them up, and now this is obviously going to be a huge summer.
Yeah,
um, I guess if Palinka has a good summer, drafts well, maybe gets a free agent for Braun, then maybe his roles increase and he stays on. I'm hearing names like Pat Riley. Who else were they trying to lure?
I heard
Another
David.
big, yeah, David Griffin. I heard too could be the president of basketball ops. I mean, I don't know if there's a clear candidate for this job, and I don't know many guys that might want to go into that job because to me, it seems like Jeannie Buss is just controlling the whole ship,
Yeah. Well, I
which
was listening
she's
to.
entitled to, but she
Right.
has done a very poor job in the
Yeah,
past couple years.
I was listening today. Broussard, he's been speaking a lot of facts lately, but he said the Lakers are pretty much behind every other franchise in terms of what their organization should look like. He said they look like a little like mom and dad ran operation, like a nice family business, while everyone else is a corporation. You know, he said they don't have the analytics, they don't have any of the scouting. So he was saying Palinka's vision right now is just kind of revitalize the whole Lakers business right now, and keep them up to date. So if they don't do that, they're not going to have many selling points for free agents this summer with probably the best guy you can have to sell to someone. So we'll see how
Yeah,
that goes.
and I think obviously the big move that the Lakers clearly are desperate to make is the Anthony Davis deal.
Hmm.
But I think if they really want that to get done, they might need to bring a third team. And I heard on a couple shows this past week that Rob Pelinka around the league is not really liked.
Yeah.
He was a huge agent, was a pain in the ass for a lot of GMs and owners back when he was Kobe's agent and many other players' agents. And apparently they just don't pick up his phone calls. There's
You
just
know what I'm
not
starting to
there's
get the
not
sense
that
of?
lack of there's a lack of respect between Pelinka and the other executives around the league.
I'm starting to get the sense that most teams in the NBA love the fact that the Lakers can't get anything done
Oh,
right now. They love
100%.
it. They love it so
100%.
much, and they're doing everything in their power right now to kind of sabotage them.
Yeah.
As most clearly seen with Dell Demps, literally sacrificing his career for it.
Yeah. So I I guess I guess you bring in LeBron's boy and then you try to persuade Kyrie.
You know
I
what I was
think
thinking?
I think Kyrie's done and with the whole LeBron thing. I know
Yeah, no, Kyrie's not coming.
but there's rumors out there bringing in David Griffin and it's like the Cavs of the West. Then you got the relationship with LeBron and Kyrie and they can all come together and blah blah blah.
I want
So,
I want two moves to happen. I want Dave Griffin to get brought in just because he knows what LeBron wants. He gets that stuff done. He knows how to put a team around him,
yeah.
and he knows how to keep guys happy in the locker room. The other guy I want to bring in is the guy who gets no love in the NBA, and I don't know why. After he just revitalized the whole Kings team, but the boy David Yeager.
Yes, who was
Why does no one give him a
just fired.
chance?
Just
Exactly.
fired,
Literally
which
go in
was
and scoop him up.
very interesting. I guess the rumor is that Sacramento is super interested in Luke Walton if he gets fired from the
That's
Lakers. But
perfect for. Go ahead.
but now I'm hearing, dude, that Luke might not even get fired
Oh, please no.
because that's Genie and Palinka's boy.
Ah,
So I don't know. Maybe they bring in a new staff for Luke. I would think he would have been fired by now. Maybe he'll be fired within the next day or two.
oh man.
If he doesn't get fired by the end of the week, I think he's there, man.
Now, in all fairness to Luke, in all fairness to him, when the roster was running, like when it was fully healthy, there were no problems off the court. They were a very good team, very
They
well
were
run
top
team.
three. They were going to be
Exactly.
top five team in the West if they
He
just
was
stayed
dealt a
healthy.
pretty rough deck of cards this year, which you have to give him some slack for. Bunch of injuries, bunch of new guys, like such a weird roster with vets and young guys, really no in between. So I'll give him a little slack, but I still would just like to see a new face personally.
No, yeah, you always want just to change that spark. Obviously, we saw it when Ty Lue took over. Like the Cavs just played different. Like I said with Luke, it's the same thing with David Blatt. They hired him thinking it was going to be a different team, thinking the young players were going to be able to develop with Luke, and the young players are going to be able to develop with Blatt. And then you get the best player in the league to join your team, and you got to change everything, and you got to coach differently, and you every single game you have to be on top of your game. And there were some games where Luke effed up, and it was
Hmm.
clear, and you can't do that.
Well, the biggest thing for him too was he literally didn't know how to figure out a rotation for like half the year.
Yeah.
That's like basics. That's like the one thing you can't mess up as a coach. But
But like you said, it was a weird roster. He had Rondo, he had Lonzo. He's like, how do I balance these two guys? They can probably both start.
mhm.
So I, I don't know. I still like Luke as a good young coach. Dave Yeager, maybe I could see that working in LA. I don't know how him and LeBron would get along. I don't know.
Dave
Maybe
Yeager, you know
I
who
would
loved Dave Yeager?
Boogie.
Yeah, Boogie
Yeah,
loved
Boogie
Dave
did
Yeager.
love him. He's a
And you
great
can deal
coach,
with
but
Boogie. You can
yeah,
deal with most people. But the other thing I liked about him too was the way he had the Kings playing is the way the Lakers want to play. That super up tempo offense where they got a point guard pushing the tempo like De'Aaron Fox. Do the
yeah.
same thing with Lonzo.
Vlade
So I
Divac
think
just got re-upped too. I don't understand why they fired him. So
yeah,
weird.
no
They were
idea.
next year is going to be their year. I don't know.
They looked great
Maybe
this
he was
year.
really disappointed that they didn't make the playoffs this year. But I've heard this name's obviously been tossed around, and honestly, the more I keep saying it, dude, I feel like maybe he might want to. Could Kobe Bryant step in,
As
take
coach,
the job? No. President of basketball ops.
I mean, I don't know.
Palinka has his
Kobe,
own agent.
Kobe is interesting because Kobe really seems like every time people ask him about coming back to basketball, he really keep saying like, "Oh, I've closed that chapter." Like I'm doing it. Like he's literally writing books, has body armor. So he has got a lot going on right
I
now.
know to
But
me, he just
would I
seems like he
love
would
it?
love the grind,
Oh, he would be perfect.
right?
He'd
So
be such a
I
good
don't hate it. I don't
slash
think it'll
character.
happen, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, no, I would definitely be down for that.
Side note, when all this Magic Johnson stuff was breaking, one of my favorite guys in sports media, Bill Simmons, he tweeted out the weirdest NBA stories of the season,
Yeah.
updated. Draymond KD spat.
Uh,
AD throws away a year of his prime. Carmelo doesn't make it to 2019. Jimmy Butler versus Minnesota. Bulls create a leadership committee. Anything James Dolan did, and then Magic quits press conference. So what a strange year in the NBA. But
yeah.
well, two of the all-time greats, man, played their final games in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
It is just like it's surreal to me that these guys are retiring. Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki both dropping 30 in their last games. Got to go out on top.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Dwayne Wade he did try to do one last score table hop and he horribly like buckled his knee and he's like, oh, that was tragic. So I don't know if you saw that, but that was funny. And then he got back up though, gave him one more time. Just some quick accolades for these guys. Two of the best. I mean, both career average 22 and 20 for Dirk. The best scoring years they each had. D Wade won a scoring title in 08-09, averaging 30. Obviously, Dirk's best year was in 06-07 when he won the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Wade's a 13-time All-Star. Dirk's a 14-time All-Star. 3 rings for Wade, 1 ring for Dirk. 3 All-Defense for Wade. Finals MVP in 06 for Wade. Finals MVP in 11 for Dirk. And I think what is, to me, the best part about how Wade and Dirk both went out is how connected their careers have been.
Mm-hmm.
You know, D Wade won his first chip going down 0-2 against that Mavericks team that was super, super tough. Obviously, the year that Dirk, or the year, yeah, I think that was the year Dirk won MVP, right? Or it was the year before. Either way, and then of course, obviously in 11 when Dirk went absolutely off against the Miami Heat and LeBron and D Wade and got his only ring. Yeah, man. I mean, two first ballot Hall of Famers. I mean, how do you feel about these two Titans leaving the game, man? It's sad, bro. It really is.
Well, it's really two guys that just revolutionized the league. You know, Dirk most obviously, pretty much invented like
big
the
man
stretch
shooter.
four. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much invented it. Perfected the fadeaway jump shot. Everybody uses that one-legged jump shot now. Even point guards use it. I use that shot sometimes. Such a great move.
Oh, of course.
D Wade, of course, such a legendary figure in the league. You know, the Flash himself.
Oh, yeah.
People
Don't forget to.
though,
Go ahead.
Yeah, that finals performance he put up against the Mavs might have been one of the greatest individual performances.
Oh, Game 5,
basketball history.
Game 5 was unbelievable.
The dude literally just went out of his mind carrying that team. Yeah, they'll be forever missed. Honestly, you hate to see him go, but it was time. So.
Oh yeah, no doubt. D Wade, the all-time shot blocker by guard. Yep. Obviously, past Michael Jordan, I think last year or earlier this year with that. Man, last night I was looking up some old highlights, man. Like the Varejao dunk was just so disrespectful, bro. The spinning over Kendrick Perkins. I don't know if you remember that angry dunk. Obviously, the steal on John Lucas into the floater for the game winner. Like D Wade was he was a human highlight reel. So athletic in his day, bro. Could get up there, and he was a small dude. He's only like 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, I mean, Dirk in his prime was unguardable. There was only a couple guys that really could hang with him, and yeah, I liked all the jersey swaps that was going on all year. I think that's a great tradition that has to stick around. Obviously, in soccer, that's huge because it's, big monumental matches. Basketball is a little different because it's a full season. But, D Wade was giving his jersey to Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Jay Crowder, Jimmy Butler, Isaiah Thomas. They were just, the list went on. Good to see. And then, of course, his last game jersey in Brooklyn went to no other than his banana boat buddy, Carmelo Anthony, CP3, LeBron. They were all courtside watching.
To give him.
Yeah, it feels bad. I hope that's another topic for another day. But yeah. Also, just enough with the D Wade Paul Pierce talk. Can we put that to bed?
This is my thing. if you're
Can we
gonna
put that
ask
to bed,
if you're
please?
gonna ask a super high level NBA player, were you better than this guy? Was your career better? Of course he's gonna say yes. Of course they're super competitive. No one's ever gonna admit if someone has a
Why'd
better
they have
career
to do
than you.
why'd they have to do the truth like that on ESPN? Like just
Really?
Jalen was just listing his accomplishments.
Like, yeah, Paul Pierce says some dumb things, but he was one of the greatest Celtics of all time. Just let the man say dumb stuff and just move on. Just let
Uh,
it die.
the Heat fans and the Net fans at one point both chanted Paul Pierce sucks.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce sucks.
Now the Nets fans are just mad because that trade that got them Paul Pierce set it back like 5 years. So
That is very true, yeah. So man, two of my favorite players of all time, man. I had the custom D Wade jersey with like the whole picture silhouette on the back, man. Like
hmm
he in his prime. And then there was an interesting question. If you're starting a team today, are you drafting rookie D Wade or rookie Dirk to start your franchise today in today's
Ooh,
NBA?
that's tough. Um, man, that's really tough.
The way shooting is, I would probably lean Dirk, but man, it'd be close,
Yeah,
right?
I'd,
Just
I'd
because of the
probably lean Dirk. Just a 7 foot shooter's
because you could just put
literally,
him at the five, and yeah, it'd be perfect. Yeah,
but
but
yeah.
man, oh, great careers. Gonna miss them. Happy the way they went out. It was kind of like a goodbye farewell tour for both of them, and now they each got the Mavericks got young players to carry the torch for Dirk with Luca and KP, and the Heat got a lot of good young players too, man, with Adebayo and Justice and Josh
Yeah.
Richardson, Derrick
We'll
Jones, and
see. We'll see who emerges out of that young core of Heat
I
players.
would I would have loved to see maybe the Heat sneak in the playoffs for D Wade's final dance, but I feel like
Yeah,
this
me
way is
too.
just a little better.
I
So.
don't know if he would have had it in him.
Yeah, that's true.
He was
He
banged
he
up.
was really giving it all. Another, I would say, Hall of Famer, one of the best sixth man of all time, dropped a 50 burger.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Crawford, Jay crossover, Jay Smooth,
Mm-hmm.
man, oldest player to drop 50 points in a game, passing none other than the GOAT, MJ, to
Mm-hmm.
do it. Also, the first player to score 50 points with 4 different teams.
Yeah, that's
The
absurd.
the pictures are great because he doesn't age. Obviously, he looks the same in all 4 pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a quick shout out to Jamal. Man, what a 50 burger out of nowhere, man.
Yeah, I just want to say a quick thing about Jamal.
Go ahead.
He's just one of the most underappreciated guys ever in the NBA. Could have started for so many teams literally his whole career, but always accepted that 6 man position. Top 3 handles of all time, in my opinion, especially for a guy who's like
Who
6'5",
who
6'6".
he created moves. Like nobody did
Absolutely.
the behind the back hop step layup.
Nope. The
Nobody.
double behind the back.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
you
just.
didn't see that.
Also, another thing a lot of people don't know, he holds the record for most 4-point plays.
He does. Yeah.
That's right.
He that high arcing 3-point shot, man.
Mhm. But I
It was a
remember him
great day.
saying something the other day. People were asking him like, "How come you never, towards the end of your career, how come you never like hopped on a contender?" He kind of did that with the Clippers, but even after that, people were saying, "Why don't you hop on the contender? Try to get your last ring." He's like, I don't know why everyone's always worried about winning rings, everything. I just want to go to a place where I could see players develop. I think he's
Yeah.
really just enjoying watching Devin Booker and all those Suns guys develop. So I
Yeah,
respect him.
no doubt. I was gonna say though, if there was one guy, maybe him and Vince Carter, if they
Mm.
did decide to join the Warriors, I wouldn't have been mad.
I
Honestly,
would be
I
mad.
would. I wouldn't have been mad because both those guys deserved a ring, and they're both
Rings
gonna
if you
have
get.
great careers. But I wouldn't have been mad. One year, so many guys have done that, and now they got
Stop
rings.
it
It's
like
like
that.
whatever. But
They're not no David West. Get out of here, David West.
freaking ring chaser. But speaking of chasing rings, we will move on, man. The playoffs are set. The West, man, the last game of the season, I think,
Oh yeah,
really affected the Western Conference playoffs. We'll
really
get
shook
to
it up.
that. Really shook it up. We'll start with the 1-8 and the 4-5 matchup. The 1-8 in the West, Golden State versus Clippers.
hmm
I think the season series went like Golden State 3-1. Um, I think this is for the rest of the league. I think this is a good draw for the Warriors. I think the Clippers. I don't. Obviously, they're not going to win the series. Maybe they steal a game. I doubt it. But
Yeah,
they just got to beat them up. They just got to play them super hard. Play like they got nothing to lose. Fact of the matter is, the Clippers don't have anybody to guard Katie or Clay. I like
but they got
Beverly
someone to
on.
put on Steph.
Yeah, I like Beverly on Steph. That's fine. I like Montrezl and Draymond and a couple of maybe he can bang around with Boogie Montrezl for a little bit, or maybe Gallo can match up with Draymond, but KD and Clay are gonna be able to get whatever they want. I mean,
Oh,
Landry Shamet, Shy Gilly, they're not gonna be able to guard these guys.
yeah, no.
They're a great story. Clippers Doc definitely gets Coach of the Year nods and all that. But at the end of the day, this is a sweep. I just hope it's a tough sweep, and maybe they get a little beat up
Yeah.
first
That's
round.
what I think too. I hope every game goes down to the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter, but yeah, I don't see anything else but a sweep.
Yeah, and then who they will play in the second round will be between the Rockets and the Utah Jazz. The Rockets dropped on the last day of the season from the 3 seed to the 4, so they went from playing OKC in the first round to Utah in the first round. I think this is a close series, man. I still like the Rockets in 5 or 6. My only problem with the Jazz is who's going to guard Harden.
Well, you'd think Donovan Mitchell. You'd think he could do a decent job, but that remains to be seen. I saw something about Pat Bev trying to teach Jay Crowder.
Yeah, there was a clip. Yeah, I was
Jay
going to
Crowder
mention
can't
that.
defend Harden. Like, there's been this thing that Jay Crowder used to be a really good defender.
LeBron stopper.
LeBron stopper, quote unquote. He's just not anymore. He's a decent player, decent defender, strong guy, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, Beverly was like, he see what he gonna do. He's gonna get that step. He was like, you literally like saw him, and everybody was like, yo, he's for sure giving him tips on how to guard Harden.
No, but the one thing the Jazz can do is utilize Gobert to his fullest. Just push him off the 3-point line, force him into a driving team, and then have faith in the best defender in the league, in my opinion. So
yeah, I mean,
get that done. I think they could steal 2 or 3 games.
And I think, like you said, I think it's on Donovan Mitchell, man. If he comes out and he plays like a star and he takes that CP3 matchup a little personally, because I think it's like his mentor, I think they're pretty close. He's been playing really well at the end of the season, like under the radar, averaging like 25 a game. If he comes out, they have really good home court. I mean, we saw how much of that home court and just Ingles and just that type of play style they play with their coaching staff and everything. They get under people's skin, man. And I hope the Rockets are able to handle it. I think they will. They got the home court.
It's just the sheer
it's two contrasting play styles, too much of a contrast. If they were a little closer, like if Houston got like Denver in the first round or whatever, I would have liked it to have been a little bit of a closer series, but it's just too contrast. I like Houston to advance. But yeah. But we just mentioned it. Portland, man, I think they were down like 25 to the Kings. And their starting lineup was players I had never heard of before for this game. And they stormed all the way back to win the game, got the 3 seed, and now they have to play OKC in the first round. Yes, they have home court advantage, but man, OKC must be licking their chops. No Portland. I mean, Portland with no Nurkic.
Yeah.
I know OKC. I know you've been loving them all year. How we feeling?
I think OKC wins. I do think a lot of people are underrating this Trailblazers team. I think this series goes 6 or 7 games. People don't realize, but since Nurkic has gotten hurt, Blazers have lost like 2 games.
Yeah,
like they're like 14-2 or some crazy stat. They've had a bunch of guys that are just waiting for opportunities, step up. They got the 2 stretch big men now. They got Myers Leonard and Zach Collins getting a lot of time, which is really good for your team to have stretch big men out there, really stretch the floor for guys like Lillard. They just got McCollum back. Whether he's fully healthy, we'll see. But yeah, and shout out to Anfernee Simons, the rookie, dropping 37 and 9 in their last game to pretty much storm them all the way
Academy,
back.
Right? Yeah, damn.
Boy's like 19. He came straight from IMG. So
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, they're crazy. I just think OKC just got more talent on the team, and Paul George, they got nobody to guard him. So
yeah, yeah, no doubt. And they're on the side of the bracket away from Golden State and Houston. So they're going to play the winner of the 2-7 matchup, which is Denver-San Antonio. I mean, I think this is a good matchup for San Antonio if they were going to match up to any other team. I think all the games will be close, but I still like Denver to win in like 5, maybe 6. Their home court is just too good. Jokic is just too good. He makes everybody better every time. I think he's a perfect matchup against Aldridge. Denver might not necessarily have the best bodies to throw at DeRozan, but I feel like they have enough where they can neutralize him. And DeRozan's
Yeah.
not going to pop off for 40.
Well, no.
He'll get you 30, but he's not going to be like, oh my God, we cannot guard him.
Yeah. The biggest thing in this series for me is I always compare this Denver team to the like 2014 or 2015 Warriors team. The style of their play is so contrasting to the Spurs. I don't think they'll be able to keep up with their scoring pace. You know, they're either shooting threes or they're cutting to the basket for layups or they give it to Jokic to do a little post move or whatever. Spurs are kind of a 2-point centric team. Their two best players are mid-range shooters.
Yep.
It's not really built for today's NBA. Now, it remains to be seen how far Pop can carry you in the playoffs, which is crazy that he's still having such an effect. But yeah, I see this game.
Still making the playoffs.
Oh,
People
of course.
thought they were going to slide out this year.
I thought so too. But yeah, maybe this goes 5 or 6, just because maybe DeRozan and Aldridge go off for 50 each or 40 each one night. But yeah.
I never expect a Greg Popovich coach team to get swept. You know, I could see a gentleman sweep 5, maybe 6.
Mhm.
I'm going to say Denver in 5. I guess we're on the same page. We got Warriors, Denver, Houston, and then OKC, the lone upset.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so excited, man. This is the best like 2 weeks when the first round is going on.
Yeah.
The West, man, the second round will be a battle.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can't wait. We'll move on to the East now. A lot happened on the last day. The Hornets really needed the Knicks to step up, and they did not.
We did what we were supposed to do.
They were like tweeting out like New York or nowhere, like please we need help, and people were like, all right, like we'll beat you, but next year we get Kemba, you know. Like, it was pretty funny. But Detroit beat the Knicks on the last day of the season, so they sneak in at the 8th seed. They will face the best team in the NBA, the 60-win Milwaukee Bucks, led by the Greek Freak. This is a sweep. Detroit is, I don't think they deserve to be in the playoffs. I guess maybe they do. Blake Griffin had a underrated year. There's a strong case to be made that Blake Griffin is like a top 3 player in the East. Some people were saying second best in the East. I don't know about that.
No.
Top 5 for sure. Top 3
Yeah, top
might
5.
have to argue about it. You got Greek Freak, Embiid, and Kawhi probably right there at 3. I'm sorry, Kyrie, you said?
But yeah, continue.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I mean, this is a sweep. Who's hurt? Oh, Mirotic is still hurt for Milwaukee, right?
Yep.
Mirotic is still hurt, and Brogdon?
Yes.
Right.
They're supposed to both come back for the start of the playoffs, but we'll see. They
That's
definitely,
good.
they're probably
And
going to
Giannis
remain
is
on the
fully healthy,
conservative
right?
side.
As long as
Like, I don't even think they need either of them for the Detroit series.
No,
So they
no,
could just
no, yeah.
get healthy, be ready for Celtics or Pacers after.
Yeah, so that's pretty cut and dry. We don't need to go into too much detail with that. They will play the winner of the 4-5 matchup, which is pretty interesting. The Boston Celtics without Marcus Smart, big blow. That
hit.
team, torn oblique, will be out for possibly
First
and second round, yeah, which really hurts. And they will go up against Indiana Pacers without Oladipo, but still a very solid team. Like you've been saying, I think we see a different version of Kyrie starting up. I think now that Smart is out, I think it's a big blow, but I think it'll just make Tatum and Jalen and Rozier step up even more. And like you said, a 2-point guard set with Kyrie and Rozier, I like. I like a lot, and I don't mind if that's on the floor a lot with like Tatum, Marcus Morris, and Horford. You're still a good defensive team, and you got bucket getters out there.
Yeah, the biggest thing with that injury is I hope it kind of snaps Jaylen Brown back into where he was last year. Because that was kind of the biggest difference between regular season to playoffs was Jaylen Brown was playing like pretty much like an all-star in the playoffs. He was dropping 28 games, shooting threes. So hopefully that kind of kicks him back a gear.
I'm gonna take Boston. I'm gonna say Boston in 5 because I really hope that they come out and they just are not cute with them. I think because if you get cute with this Indiana team, they're a good enough team. They will beat you.
They'll grind you
They're
out.
well-rounded enough. They're balanced. They don't really necessarily have that star, but Miles Turner, Sabonis, Bogdanovich, they're all good players. Tyreek Evans has been playing really well.
They remind me of the Clippers a lot.
Yeah.
I think they're very similar.
Well-coached defense. They got very good home court when it gets there. Boston, you got home court. Come out, beat the crap out of them first 2 games, steal one at home, and then win it back. Steal one on the road, and they'll be fine. Then maybe that gives Marcus Smart a little bit more time to recover. Maybe then if you got to go up against Milwaukee, you get him maybe a game or two back into that series. He's a tough enough dude. Torn oblique though, that's nothing to F with, but
definitely need him for the Bucks.
Yeah, so good series. I like Boston in 5. What are you picking?
I'd say Boston 5 or 6.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, on the same page. Then the other pretty cut and dry matchup. Very happy for the Orlando Magic, though. They get in at the 7th seed. They'll go up against Toronto Raptors. Super happy that Vucevic is in the playoffs. Steve Clifford, great coach. They were playing super, super well towards the end of the year, so they deserve to be in the playoffs, no doubt. But I think Toronto might be the best team in the Eastern Conference for the playoffs. Kawhi is very well rested. They were resting him back-to-backs. This is a sweep for me, but yeah, I think this is a sweep, like big time. I think they're gonna really beat them up.
Yeah.
I think I saw a tweet like Toronto versus Magic gonna be on NBA TV 2. I'm like, yeah, that's true. But they will play the winner of the 3-6 matchup, the Sixers against the Brooklyn Nets. Congrats to them. Happy to see one New York team get in. They deserve it. They've played well all year, very well coached. Like we've said a lot about these teams, good young players. They're deep. Joel Embiid's health, though, a little under question. Might not be available for the first 2 games or at least they said maybe the early portion of the series. Give me your thoughts on this series. Do they need Embiid for this series necessarily? And who's your pick?
Yes, they definitely need Embiid for this series.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a really tough series for them because even if they get Embiid back, I think the Nets might have the best guy in the East to guard him in Jarrett Allen. He's one of the maybe Giannis will do a better job, but
Yeah.
Jarrett Allen's one of the most.
Jarrett Allen in 2-3 years will be scary.
Yeah, and he's a crazy rim protector right now. They got such great chemistry. They got a lot of bodies to throw at Ben Simmons to match up with Tobias.
Yeah.
They really haven't had.
Jimmy needs to step up.
Yeah, Jimmy's gonna have to step up a lot. Hopefully, you put Jimmy on D'Angelo, try to neutralize him a little bit. But I question how much the Sixers have really gotten to play with each other. The health has been a little spotty.
Yeah.
I think this goes 6 or 7 games. Probably lean more towards 7.
And who wins?
Sixers.
Okay, yeah.
Just sheer talent.
My boy Boban, though. He's been playing well. If he can step in, if Brooklyn can steal one on the road early, I think it goes 6 or 7. But I think if Philly can establish early on that they're a good enough team, even without Embiid, that I think this goes like 5 games. I just think Brooklyn doesn't match up. I mean, they're deep and they have good guards and they can shoot the ball. But if they're not hitting their threes, their offense is pretty stagnant. And, D'Lo, Joe Harris, LeVert, they can all get a bucket, but they rely on that 3-point shot. LeVert's a little bit more mid-range, but I just worry about their offense when Philly, when they go small and they got Simmons at the 1, they're a very good defensive team.
Yeah,
and they can switch everything. They match up very well to different teams. I'm going to say Philly, gut feeling, Philly in 6. I'll give Brooklyn 2 games just because I've talked about them all year as being a relatively solid team. But yeah, so that's it for the East and West, man. I'm very excited for the first round of the playoffs. Hopefully we see some crazy performances. I'm excited to see Giannis in the playoffs. I'm excited to see Kawhi in the playoffs. And yeah, so what? We only got 1 upset?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that's not bad. Since it is the end of the season, we will transition. We will give our final season awards. I know we've updated it throughout a couple episodes here. We'll just go down the list, give a quick case for if you had a vote, you had to lock it in today. Who you picking? MVP? Give it to me.
Giannis. I don't know how many.
Had a feeling
I could say this. I mean, the guy has just dominated the league all year. The team's record shows that. I think he's going to show it again in the playoffs. And just when I mean dominate, I mean both sides of the ball. Just arguably the best defender in the league, arguably the most unstoppable in offense. Even he's now shooting threes towards the end of the season, putting
Yep.
up a couple a game. Yeah, I think it's pretty cut and dry. Obviously, Harden's had a remarkable season as well, but I'd give it to Giannis.
Yeah, led his team in points per game, assists per game, and rebounds per game. I think in the same year that they were a 1 seed, or some crazy stat. I think it was only like him, LeBron, um, Kareem, and somebody else are like the only players to ever do that and like make the playoffs. Hear me out.
Uh-oh.
If I had a vote, I'm gonna pick Harden.
Okay.
And my case is it's the way I look at the award. Some people might think that the MVP is the best player on the best team, which honestly I completely understand. To me, it is the most valuable to the team and what that player did for their team. Not necessarily the best player on the best team, which don't get me wrong, you take Giannis off the Bucks, what happens to that Bucks team? They're probably a 6, 7, 8 seed. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
The fact though that the Rockets started so slow, Chris Paul got hurt, Capella got hurt at the same time. They both missed. Chris Paul missed like 20 games, Capella missed like 12, 13 games. The stretch that Harden went on to keep his team in the playoffs, and eventually, I mean, they basically got to the 3 seed. They slid down to the 4, whatever. Like, I don't hold them too much, 3, 4. 36 a game, 8 assists. It's going to be the highest scoring average since Michael Jordan, and the only other guy that averaged more was freaking Wilt, who was in an era that nobody could guard him. I think to me, this year, for me, Harden was the most valuable player. And that's why he would be my vote. Not saying that Giannis probably deserves it because of the 60 wins and leading his team, and just from start to finish, they were the best team on offense and defense. But to me, I think just Harden just had the MVP year.
That's fair.
I don't know.
Personally,
it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be super close.
Yeah.
But I think Giannis will get the edge because I think a lot of the executives and other writers respect the 60 wins and team performance so much, like they have in the past with Steph, etc. But I think me personally, that's the way I look at the award.
Plus, the other thing, which I think I might have told you this at the beginning of the year, is I said no matter what Harden does this year, they're not going to give him MVP again. That's just not how it works now. The way the media votes, they get bored of one guy, they want to move on to the next best story. So, not that I'm saying that factors into my decision at all, but that's why I think Giannis probably run away with it, especially because he's kind of transitioning into being the best player in the league. So they're just going to try and build him up in the media and all that. So
yeah, there's a lot of talking points that without LeBron in the playoffs this year, that can Giannis be that attraction for people that don't normally watch NBA regular season basketball? Will he be an interest to other people to tune into a game? And maybe Giannis starts generating that momentum and he's going to be the new face of the league.
This whole thing about him not having the proper swag and all that, that's just ridiculous. Just put a video up of
great.
Him.
Oh, he's
the nicest guy. He's funny.
He's still young too, dude.
The thing that's gonna
like my age.
24.
It's crazy.
But the thing that's gonna bring people to watch him, just show videos of him dunking all over people.
Yes.
That's why people watch the NBA. They just want to see people
the ferocity,
dunk on each other.
the Mamba mentality that this boy's gonna be playing with in the playoffs.
Show him meat mugging. You know what I mean?
I can't wait. Rookie of the year. I know I made a super strong case for Trae Young last time we spoke, but if I had to make a vote, I would probably vote Luka, just because start to finish, it to me he doesn't even feel like a rookie. That's why it's just so surreal to me. He's already like cemented himself as a star in this league. Next year he might pop and he might start averaging 25, 26 a game without Dirk taking some of his shots. You know. Yeah, from start to finish, the team did a little better. Honestly, bro, if they didn't trade for KP, they might have been in that playoff hunt. They were playing well. So they made that trade. Obviously, the team started tanking. Trae Young, don't get me wrong, he should definitely get some first-place votes. I think it'll be like 70-30 in terms of first-place votes for Luka, though. I think it'll be pretty unanimous. Not unanimous, pretty majority, you know. But yeah, man, we haven't seen a rookie like Luka since LeBron James. And when you put him in the same breath of air as LeBron, like, you just got to give him the award. He deserves it.
I've been saying it for a while. I think Luka's rookie of the year, just his overall body of work, just ridiculous. Putting up vet level stats. I think, and that's no disrespect to Trae Young, I think this draft class is going to be one of the best draft classes we've had in a while.
Yeah.
I feel like we literally just had the new Steph and new LeBron just get drafted in the same year, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely very exciting to see. I'm really excited to see how, although it pains me to say it, how Porzingis and him will play next year.
Oh no, it'll be great.
I'm happy
yeah.
that they're together, whatever the Euro connection.
Yeah, they're boys. They've been boys, yeah.
But yeah, gonna be super fun to watch him next year. One of my favorite players too. We got the Slovak roots.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely excited to watch him next year.
Yeah, the future is bright. Has potential. The ceiling is the roof for young Luka. He can truly be one of the greats to play this game if he just loves the game and stays focused, which I really do think he does since he's been playing professionally since he was 16. So, most improved player, I go back and forth on this. If I had to vote, though, I'm going to go with Pascal. I think what impressed me most about him is the games that they rested Kawhi or rested Lowry or rested both of them. He like really was like a focal point for that team. He can do it all. He can score. He can defend. He can pass. He can, defend on the perimeter, defend down low. He's a great rebounder. This is one of the great stories. I think he really improved before our eyes. Like last year, we were like, who the hell is this dude? Like grabbing boards, like what? Like when he was like trying to match up with Braun, we were like, this dude cannot guard LeBron. Like what? But now, man, I mean, he's a very versatile defender and a very, very solid player, and he's my vote. D'Lo would be close, but I just think more of an improvement from last season for Siakam.
Yeah. I'm very torn on this because I feel like the stats are very obviously skewed towards Siakam just because he's had a ridiculous spike in every category.
Which is the award, though.
Yeah, but in my personal opinion, I feel like I've seen the most progression in D'Angelo Russell's game.
Yeah.
Now, I think the reason it doesn't reflect in the stats is because when you're the main focal point of your offense, you get all the attention. You know what I mean? He went from being a nice player on a team who can score to being the offense on that team. So they're throwing the best defender at him.
Yeah.
When Siakam's on a team where they got Kyle Lowry, Kawhi, and Marcus.
100%. Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, so, and
I
with
think
D'Lo,
statistically, what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say with D'Lo, he's always been able to score. It's just that next step of his game that we saw this year. We're like, oh my gosh, yeah, he's an all-star.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say statistically, it's obviously towards Siakam, but in my personal opinion, I would give it to D'Angelo. Just personally, through seeing his game develop, I've seen so much more develop in his game.
No, yeah, 100%. And I think the best part with D'Lo, which I'm happy for at least, is that he's really matured as a leader, and you can tell with that team. Like they really he's lead by example, like ice in the veins, like give it to me in clutch, like it's on me. Like let's do this. We're going to war, and that's all you want with your franchise player. And I think Brooklyn, they got it. I think they're super happy with the Laker trade, and they got their franchise player. So good for them. And hopefully he doesn't get locked up in the playoffs, and hopefully he has a good good postseason. Coach of the year, it's for me it's pretty easy. It's Budenholzer. I mean, from start to finish, wire to wire, in top 5 in offense, top 5 in defense. You can't ask for a better coaching job. Yeah, it is a no-brainer.
I mean, a lot of coaches have good cases for it. Doc Rivers obviously turned that whole roster around. Malone has
made the playoffs, yeah.
Malone has a great case too.
Yep.
But yeah, like you said, it's really hard to argue.
Terry Stotts has a great case too.
Yeah, Terry Stotts, coach of the Pacers too.
Yeah. Nate McMillan, yeah.
But you got to give it to the guy that top 3, like you said, in offense and defense, and just completely turning around that whole Bucks team, turning Brook Lopez into a new player. Stretch 5, shooting his brains out. Allowing Giannis to have
getting a lot out of Bledsoe this year.
Best
Bledsoe
season
having
so
a great
far.
year, yeah.
So I'd give it to Budenholzer. I've always thought he's a super good coach, so I knew that was gonna be a great signing for them. So
yeah, no doubt. Sixth man of the year and defensive player of the year, I'll just put them both together because to me they're pretty obvious. Maybe not defensive player of the year, but sixth man of the year is Lou Will's award. That
Mm-hmm.
boy is a walking bucket off the bench. They might have to rename the award to the Lou Williams Sixth Man Award of the Year.
Uh-huh.
Defensive Player of the Year. It was tough. You probably could have gone Gobert. I would probably just give it to PG just because he's leading the league in steals.
Yeah.
One of the best perimeter defenders. Kawhi probably would have had a strong case too if he played more games, but I think Paul George was for me the most instinctive player out there. Just great hands, like so many deflections that people just
Mm-hmm.
don't even notice during the game that don't go on the stat sheet, but super active hands. That team as a whole, OKC, is very, very good defensively, obviously. But PG go and lock up your best player on any given night, which I love
Yeah.
about him. And for me, he deserves this award. Especially, it's not that like he deserves the award because he's not going to get MVP, but like the type of year he's having and he's leading the league in steals, like that just shows you that he still prioritizes defense to like the highest extent.
Well, yeah, no, that's the most underrated thing, like you said, about being such a great defender. He's one of the main scoring options on your team. That means you're grinding 100% offense and defense. You know, not a lot of players can do that. So yeah, this is tough for me because I really feel like Gobert deserves it. He's been gypped a couple years,
Yeah.
but it's just the versatility of Paul George, the fact that OKC, when they're on their best, is such a great defensive team.
Yeah.
Great story as well. Just him finally, getting back to where he was before the injury. I'd probably give it to Paul George too. Just been the most consistent throughout the year.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We're on the same page with basically all these. You got D'Lo and Giannis, right, as your differentiating picks. So it'll be interesting to see. I really wish they would announce MVP before the playoffs start, and they would present the trophy at the first game like they always did.
Yeah.
I don't know why they changed it to do it after the playoffs because now it's like, oh, now we got to see how they play in the playoffs before we get the MVP. No, the MVP is a regular season award. Okay, if you want to have a playoffs MVP, do that. Whatever,
And it always kind of like bridged that gap between when the regular season ended to when the playoffs started, and kind of like got you excited.
And it was like, imagine if Giannis, game 1 of the first round, gets to hold up that trophy in Milwaukee.
Oh, it'd be
That
awesome.
place will be berserk, man. Like the energy that you get, like if he deserves it, give it to him. Like why wait and have this whole stupid award show? It's just an effort to get more money, and it just makes no sense to me. But
Nobody
that's
wants
a whole other thing. We'll do some shout outs now. I'll give a quick shout out to the University of Virginia men's basketball team. Congratulations, they are national champions. I had a feeling, man, when they were struggling first round with Gardner Webb. And it was the 116 story again. And they were struggling. I was like, man, they just find a way to come out second half, take the lead back, and win this game. I just have a feeling they'll go all the way and win it all. I mean, the last 3 games they played, bro, were like crazy. Purdue game, insane. They tied at the buzzer. Auburn game, insane. Fouled with 2 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
And the national title game into overtime. Can't make it up. They deserve it. I'm happy for them. Special shout out to them. You got any thoughts real quick on the national title game before we give any other shout outs?
Well, yes, that was a really great game, by the way.
Great game. Anybody that thought the game was gonna stink, like shut up. Like it's just enough. Like these were 2 of the best teams in the nation for a reason.
Mm-hmm. And that guy DeAndre Hunter, he made himself a case to get drafted. Going off with 27, that game tying shot. Also, kind of locking down Jarrett Culver a little bit.
Bro, great. Yeah, I was loving that matchup. I was loving that matchup, man.
That was really awesome to see. I'm happy for Virginia. They finally turned it around after such an embarrassing. You can't. Yeah, I feel like that goes.
The most embarrassing in sports history, probably.
Yeah,
will be talked about for centuries, bro. Like our great grandkids will be. Remember UMBC? Holy shit! Oh, you guys saw that? Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Yes.
Freaking Mike Francesa had Ty Jerome on to congratulate him. But apparently earlier in the year, Francesa didn't like Virginia at all, was saying that their offense was stagnant. So Jerome was literally like, He's like, oh, some people, I guess, didn't do their proper research with college basketball. Like, our actual offensive numbers are, like, been top 5 in the country, like, all year. And Mike was like, oh, yeah, I don't care, like, when you, early on in the season, when you play, whoever, and you beat them by 40. I don't care about those numbers. I want to see you in the big games when you make some shots. And Ty Jerome was like, yes, sir. Also, we also play in the ACC, so we didn't beat those teams by 40 points per game. So that was kind of funny, man. Ty Jerome was taking some shots at Francesa, but, yeah, that was good. Any other shout outs, man, before we say adios? I didn't really
yeah.
have.
I had 2 shout outs actually.
Word.
One I kind of mentioned before, but that boy Anthony Simmons on the Trailblazers. I was looking into his stats a little bit. He played the whole game. He played all 48 minutes of that game and dropped
insane.
37 and 9 on 13 of 21 shooting, dropping 7 threes out of 11 from deep.
Yeah.
That boy has just been studying under Damian. He looks like a great talent. I love his mechanics. His form looks great. Super athletic. I was a little worried about how he'd be coming into the NBA from basically straight from high school.
Yeah, got to transition the body a little bit. Yeah.
He looked great. My second shout out is Grayson Allen dropping a 40 piece.
Oh, snap.
Dropping a 40 piece on the Clippers. Now that went into overtime. He didn't play the whole 40, but he definitely showed he could shoot the ball. He can get to the line. I always kind of knew his play style would fit the NBA.
Yeah.
They slot him at the point guard.
Yeah.
Classic Duke guy. But yeah, good for them. I love seeing young guys perform. That's tough to do when you're 2019 or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a last shout out for my boy who arguably, I think we've talked about him before, but if we redrafted this draft class, this guy, he might go top 5, man. Mitchell Robinson, the boy.
Oh, yeah.
Went off for the last game of the season. 11 points, and I want to say it was like 20-something boards. He had a very good day. The future is super bright with him, man. All of our rookies this year with the Knicks, they deserve some shout-outs. To me, though, the most unimpressive out of the 3 was probably Knox.
Yeah.
Dreer and Mitchell, man. Shout out to them. Future's bright for the New York Knickerbockers. And yeah, that's about it, man.
Yep.
Yeah, word. Next time we'll talk. Hopefully we'll see some clarity in the first round. Maybe we'll see like a 50 burger from Harden and Giannis. And yeah, we'll be back soon with another episode. Thanks for taking the time, bro.
Yeah, of course.
All right, man. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.